Hey everyone, so I hope you're having a great day. Today I want to talk to you about arthralgia as a symptom of hyperglycemia in type 1 diabetes. This is something that I experience and it's a relatively new thing for me to experience, and I wanted to talk to you a bit about it just because I can feel quite alone with it sometimes. I think it's quite a unique symptom of hyperglycemia, and I'd just like to know your opinions, so do leave me comments down below if this is something you experience or you know someone that does, just so then I'll feel a bit more normal about it, I think. Also, if you've got any tips on how to deal with it, that would be really great. So this morning, I'm just going to start with this little story. This morning I woke up at 5:30 with a sugar level of 296, which is stupendously high, and I have been either going low or going high, depending on even if I tweak my long-term insulin by like a unit. I think at the minute I'm quite stressed. My grandfather passed away a month ago, and there's just been a lot going on in my life, and I think that's probably affecting me in ways that I can't quite fathom, because for the life of me I can't understand why my sugar levels are doing what they're doing, and so I can only think it's an outside kind of emotional reason. Anyhow, I woke up with a sugar level of 296 at 5 o'clock. I injected it down and then woke up low a couple of hours later at 74. Anyway, on waking up as well, I woke up in a tremendous amount of pain, like all through, particularly my wrists and my shoulders and my upper arms today are in just ridiculous quantities of pain. I know if I take an ibuprofen or a paracetamol or anything like that, it won't make basically any difference to the pain, which is so frustrating. This has basically been going on, I think, actually kind of my whole life. Certainly it seems to happen after 2 or 3 days of up and down sugar levels, and sometimes it can even come on if the sugar level is like just slightly above where it should be, like, you know, like 150 or something like that, where I would used to be fine and now it's like out. Even so, I can know that my sugar level's going up because my joints start to hurt, which is ridiculous, and it's really debilitating actually to living my life. I'm a mummy of a toddler now and running around after him and stuff. I actually need heaps of energy, and I know if I look after my sugar levels, then after 2 or 3 weeks of great sugar levels, I have all the energy I need to look after him. But one sugar level can just set me off on a roller coaster that's really difficult to get back into control. And you all know that, all of you type 1s out there know how difficult it is to manage that roller coaster. This particularly started in about January. I was switching over insulins, or was kind of attempting to, and actually ended up switching back anyway and trying to find my old insulin that I used in the UK because it seems to be the best for me. Anyway, this new insulin did not work well. I gave it a really good shot, but I just had really bad sugar levels for basically a whole month, and by the end of that, I was in so much pain. I, at this point, didn't really realise that my arthralgia was linked to my sugar levels. I kind of thought it could be, but I'd never really heard of anyone having joint pain. And so I thought, okay, well, I'll go and see a specialist. So I went to see a rheumatologist here in Belgium. She did a whole bunch of blood tests, like literally every blood test. We also did a bone scan, so I had like a radioactive dye and then went through one of those big tunnel machines so they could just check over my whole body. They didn't notice anything sort of scary like cancer or arthritis or anything like that. They just noticed kind of inflammation everywhere. The guy actually said, like, do you have a really active job, because it looks like, you know, you put a lot of strain on your muscles? And I was like, well, I run around after a toddler. So anyway, so I've got a lot of inflammation in my whole joints. So I think basically what it feels like is, specifically if I wake up with a level like that, you know, the sugary blood's just been kind of eating away at all of my muscles. And I don't have many reserves for it to eat. So I think like if my body needs energy, then it's going to start eating my muscles. And I think we've probably got to that point. So my weight's good though, so that doesn't seem to be a concern. But certainly back in February, my weight had dropped because it had been that bad for a whole month, which was not cool. So the rheumatologist was like, okay, my vitamin D level was low, so we seemed to up my vitamin D, but that doesn't, even though I keep my vitamin D good at the minute, and I'm always taking supplements now, that I don't think that seems to make much of a difference to the arthralgia. What she basically diagnosed me with was what she called insulin arthralgia, so I guess it's like diabetic arthralgia. And when I googled it, I was like, oh, this is actually a thing. There aren't many studies on it, but it certainly seems like various different musculoskeletal pain is linked to diabetes, of course, because they link everything to diabetes. Like if you've got a secondary thing, it's probably because of your bad sugar levels. Now, I've always had a pretty good HbA1c. I did whilst I was pregnant, and I just had a few blips post-pregnancy where I haven't really taken as good care of myself as I should because I'm taking care of someone else. Also, various periods of stress send my sugar levels into a crazy period, as well as all the hormones adjusting, are things that I can't quite schedule or know are going to happen or how they're going to affect me. The best thing I can do for my arthralgia is literally to have perfect sugar levels, because even if I have a sugar level of 150, I can feel it, and so they have to be absolutely perfect. 150 is like what, 8.0 or something like that, so even if they're over that, it's like, oh my goodness, I can still feel it. So today I woke up with this stupid sugar level of 296, which is like, I don't know, 18 or something mad, and I injected it down. But when I woke up, I was just in so much pain. I'm still in pain now. It's mostly like in my wrists and things like that. But back in February, March time, and just before I went to see the specialist, I was at my mum's house. I was in so much pain. I couldn't even hold my phone to speak to my husband on FaceTime. I couldn't get up. I couldn't hold my son, and it was like that bad, and it was ridiculous. Traveling seems to make it worse, just because it's like different foods, different routine, and I think that certainly seems to make it worse. Any time I have a period of being slightly under the weather, my sugar levels will be higher and harder to manage. And there's so many different things that you all know that come into looking after your sugar levels, which can just make it so difficult to manage. So we have a friend who's a physio guy, and I was asking him about it and asking him if he's got any ideas on like the way that the muscles work, and that he might understand better than I do on how to look after everything. He said, one of the things he said after he'd done some reading was that actually it might be that with low sugar levels in the roller coaster, that it's depleting my electrolytes, and if you've got low electrolytes, you can get that kind of muscle pain. So I do try to make sure I eat like bananas and coconut water, things high in electrolytes, and lots of fruits and lots of vegetables, just to make sure that I'm keeping my electrolytes up, especially after a day of a roller coaster day. Make sure I drink a lot of water as well, so things like that can help. Potentially it will help my recovery rate, but it's no obvious thing. The best thing I can do is literally just have 2 or 3 days of perfect sugar levels, and then it seems to pass. But if I've had like bad sugar levels for an extended period of time, it takes a longer time to feel better. So I just really wanted to talk about it, just to raise some awareness about it, because I didn't really know very much about arthralgia. Yeah, just to open a conversation with you guys, so if you've experienced anything similar, you can tell me. Diabetes is already something that people can't see, and arthralgia is just exactly the same. They're both as debilitating as each other, I think, and it's frustrating to have two things that people can't see, because it's difficult to explain, and you can't just walk in, you know, with a big sign saying I've got diabetes and arthralgia, please be careful with me. Like, you can't do that. No one can see it. So anyway, thank you for watching, thank you for commenting, and thank you for liking and sharing this video. Have a great day. Bye.